Welcome to the Top 5. This is a podcast where a group of friends discuss their top 5 favorites in different topics, including movies, video games, television, and comic books. Enjoy the show. Hi guys, Frank here. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up before you start listening to our first podcast. These first few episodes are a little rough. We're trying out different technology, different websites, different devices and programs and stuff like that. So everything's pretty rough. And specifically for the first episode, the one I think that this one's going to be in front of, there's a terrible echo. So it's because of a setting I had wrong, and it's for about the first half of the podcast. It's real rough. So please bear with us as we kind of get our bearings and upgrade our equipment and things like that. So it'll just be a bit. Also, I just want to throw out a broad spoiler warning. I think we said it a few times in the episode, but we do talk a lot about, in this one, the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is probably going out a couple weeks after Avengers Infinity War. So I would assume at this point you've seen it, but just want to kind of give that a fair warning and make sure everybody knows. So I think that's about it. Bear with us as we kind of get good at this. It'll be a while. But we do appreciate you guys listening and being patient with us. All right, so thank you, and I hope you enjoy everything. And good luck. Bye. All right, guys. Welcome to our podcast. This is our first episode, our second attempt at it, and because recording is hard. This is we call this Top 5, and I'm making sure it goes over 8 seconds. And hey guys, we did it right. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we pick a topic out of a jar, and we discuss our top 5s in that topic, and just basically debate each other and tell each other we're wrong and everything like that, and make insults because we're best friends. And then we'll kind of start off with a little bit of topics I want to discuss beforehand too. Currently we're calling it Nerd News, but I already don't like that name like so much. But we'll see what happens. So first off, again, this is our second attempt, so no surprises. But, oh yeah, I should probably introduce people if they want to be heard. So we got first up is Squeaks. His real name's Eddie, but...
How's it going? Squeaks here.
That's Squeaks. And then we got Jonathan.
Hi, this is John. What's going on?
And then we got Daniel.
Hey, my name's Daniel, also known to Guro from World of Warcraft, if you guys ever want to hit me up.
And then we've got one more. His name's Joe. He's being quiet this time because he showed up late.
What up, students?
That's Joe. Oh, he's going to be fun. Okay. So first I wanted to let you guys know Westworld just got confirmed for Season 3. They're not even done with Season 2, of course. They're only, I think 3 episodes in. I still got to watch last night's episode. No spoilers. Yeah, okay. And so I'm pretty excited about that. And then we got Luke Cage. This... hot off the press, guys. Luke Cage, season 2 announced, coming out June 22nd. June 22nd, okay. And we both still got to watch Defenders.
Yes, need to watch Defender still.
And I think just one more. Oh, Iron Fist. I got to watch Iron Fist too.
I like that one a lot, actually.
You did?
I finished that one. There's not enough fighting though, so a lot of story, not a fighting. You're gonna be a karate guy. I need some more.
Yeah.
A lot of crying too. It's true, but it's it's very good.
Oh, a lot of crying?
Crying, like.
He said crying.
I thought you said crying. I freaking hope so. It's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Luke Cage sitting on a chessboard the whole time.
No, you know who does a lot of crying is Jessica Jones.
Hey.
Fucking shut up.
Oh my god. Wait till we get to our top 5.
Oh,
she is possibly number 1. I love Jessica Jones. I don't even get into that shit. Okay.
I think Electra would be better if they ever made one.
If they could not fuck it up. They fucked up the first one.
No, I'm talking about the new girl and Daredevil.
Oh yeah, she's cool. She's cool. Yeah.
She's bad.
She's bad. Lindsay Morgan from The 100. She plays Raymond Reyes in The 100. She's going to be she's been approached to play Batgirl in the Batgirl solo movie. It was being headed by Joss Whedon. He left the project, which is worrisome to me. I really like Joss Whedon's work. Everybody does. And I was just telling these guys, I really wish Olivia Munn would be Batgirl. I think she's got that whole mysterious, smoky thing. But she might be too aggressive for Batgirl because I think they're going to try to go with the current casting that they're kind of talking. I think they're going to go with like a cutesy version, which seems weird.
I'm hoping not cutesy as in like Supergirl cutesy.
But I think Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I hope they
that's,
don't do that.
that's TV cutesy.
That's TV cutesy, and only Supergirl could be that cutesy because she's strong enough to stay alive through it.
Yeah, she's got to be a little more grunge, like aggressive, fucking street savvy, like in New York City streets.
Because Batgirl is Commissioner Gordon's daughter, so she has seen the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she also can't be as rough as Catwoman, because Catwoman has seen the shit because she's lived in it.
Yeah.
But Catwoman has more of the edge of she's okay with committing crimes and being, negative, being, aggressive. Well, Batwoman's got to be aggressive and grunge, but still a do-gooder, like fighting for justice, right?
Yeah, but I think
she does get a little, how do you say it, more hardcore towards the end of her Batgirl career.
Well, there's a whole Killing Joke storyline that's insane with her.
Where she just wants to go nuts or whatever.
Man, okay.
That's for another episode.
There is top 5. I tell you what, I got a lot to over there, guys. There is top 5 comic book storylines. Killing Joke probably in it.
Yeah.
So let's see. Another thing on Instagram, Chris Pratt confirmed that Guardians 3 will begin filming next year, beginning of 2019. If you're listening to this in the future.
Like me some Chris Pratt.
But
What a hunk.
What a hunk! Yeah, that's the guy who's not supposed to be talking, saying he's a hunk.
but
Just kidding, Jeff.
but then like I was saying earlier, he ruined that the Guardians will be back.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
right now
So
they're
let's
currently
hold on.
dead.
Let's real quick. I just want to do a wide spoiler alert for the whole episode because we're going to be talking about top 5 MCU movies, and I do not want to try to chain myself to the wall and not mention all the awesome shit in Avengers: Infinity War. So.
What's MCU for those that are like me?
So if this is your first time listening to podcasts or watching movies or anything, MCU,
Take your phone and target it.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we'll go over a little more details once we get to that phase. I hope that you clicked on something that says Marvel Cinematic Universe and understand, because that's what the title of the episode is going to be. And no, MCU means that.
For the first week, I was looking up different computer programs MCU stood for. I was so lost.
Is it DOS? Is it for DOS?
I can't download it. How am I going to review this?
Next up, and Chris Pratt, we were talking about this too. He's getting a bunch of shit right now on Twitter and stuff like that for what he did in Avengers Infinity War, where he basically, they could have seamlessly taken that glove off and Thanos would have been powerless, all that fun stuff, but he got pissed off and punched him.
Well, and then that movie would have been a lot shorter.
Would have been a lot shorter. And I think, I liked the ending if you know it's a part 1.
Yeah, so that was another thing. I was hearing people complaining about the movie and saying, I don't like the ending. Well, how the hell do you not know that it would have ended like that if... Like, I guess these people didn't hear that there was going to be part 2.
Yeah, some people, like, if your parents are going to go watch Avengers, the new Avengers movie,
yeah,
and they're just like, where the fuck did Spider-Man go?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes, I get it, but it's like, come on, if you know about the movies and stuff, or, I don't know, if you're up to date with the news, you should have known that this is a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, if you're up to date with it. One thing I really like, too, that, we'll talk about it, because I'm sure it's in somebody's top 5, but it's a lot of discussion for, and that's, we're already talking about a spinoff about, let's just talk about movies, and this is, another thing, EVE Online just hit 15 years old, and so just a real quick rundown of what that game is. It's basically a spacefaring game that has not a lot in the actual game. Again, 15 years old, but you're building a spaceship, you're working with friends, and you're mining and stuff like that, and you're collecting resources.
Years.
Where the game's biggest strength is in its online community and the player-based factions, and people will align with these player-based factions. And lasted for a long time. This spawned a book called The Empire of Eve. It has a longer title than that, but that's the main part of it. 17,000 copies of the book sold. And literally, so me and Daniel went over with another friend of ours, Scott. We had an experience much like this in the game Ark, Survival Evolved. And it's, whereas we didn't give a shit about actual surviving, it didn't take long until that wasn't a problem. It was all about managing people around you, and we became an alpha tribe, and it was probably the funnest, right? Probably the funnest you had playing with other people.
Oh, yes, it was.
You invested so much time into it.
Oh, wasted most of my days.
Yeah.
A lot of days.
I remember, okay, so just a
grinding.
real quick sidebar. I remember, I know that's another good talk, we could talk about video games. I was out to dinner with the family for like somebody's birthday, and you had texted me like, hey, a tribe is, remember Rock Dogs?
Yeah,
Hey, a tribe's
that.
outside of our base, and they're going,
swarm of
I could
dinos.
not leave that restaurant fast enough and raced home to go play a video game with some friends but it was important. And that was a pretty big change. And I remember Rock Dogs got wiped out by Prime.
That was fun.
Oh man, we could sit there and talk about Ark for a long time. But
is this game Eve like Ark in the fact that it's real time or whatever? Like when you log off, your character's still there and can get attacked?
I want to say so. Joe, I looked at Joe because Joe's the other guy that knows he's got food in his mouth.
During the headlights.
Yeah, that's great. I want to say so just because I know that there's been like huge campaigns of people attacking someone's spaceship, space station. And I know if anybody who knows Eve and is just like, this moron has no clue, forgive me. But I know that's been like month-long endeavors and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure nobody's been on the whole time. But that's the big selling point for like Ark. Yeah. Is the fact that when you're logged off, your body's somewhere.
Yeah, so you're so committed to, I gotta get on there, protect myself, and build up my...
I wish Minecraft was that way. I wish it was in more things.
God, yeah.
Yeah. I just fired up Minecraft again this morning just because I quit WoW last week. And it's been a hard transition for me. I don't have nicotine patches, okay?
You just gotta start YouTubing what people playing WoW, right?
Well, there's Twitch, and... Yeah, that doesn't help because I'm like, I could be there, so it's hard. It's not like a person quit smoking and they're just like, let me watch shit about people smoking, it's hard to kind of do that.
That's true.
So,
I bet that feels so good.
Yeah. Next piece of news, we were talking about how we should go faster through these, I think we're slower than ever. But next piece of news, Phil Collins has announced as a tour for the U.S. That's a big deal for us, for Daniel mainly.
Definitely, I can't wait, I'm going. May 10th, they're coming out with the tickets, they're releasing all that information. I know you don't like
Michael Bourne's back.
No, it's not. No, like I said, Tarzan, amazing. Yeah.
Oh, another thing.
Hercules is amazing.
So we're going to go to the LA one, so we can go to that in Disneyland. But I also forgot to bring up, you had reminded me, tomorrow, and I'm reminding you, tomorrow, BlizzCon tickets on sale.
Oh, shoot, okay.
So whoever can be home and awake, and it's like at 7 p.m., 9 p.m., I'll have to text you the exact details. We need to be there pressing the button. Buying as many copies as you can get, or many tickets as you can, we'll resell or whatever we can do.
Okay.
So you can only get like 4 or 5.
You can get 4 at a time, yeah. Well, basically you can only get 4 if you can get them at all. But you just buy all 4 and then you could resell whatever you need to resell.
Well, you're going to be buying my ticket because I got to work.
Yeah, and then, we could even...
I work.
He works. You better not. Do you work?
Don't.
You guys gotta quit that stuff.
Well, no, it's just a convention. I'm a big fan of Overwatch as well, and watching...
Quit the jobs.
Oh, yeah. Don't tell me to quit more video games. I can't handle it right now. Okay? Fuck. All right. So, that's basically it. I've got some Stranger Things news and stuff like that, but we already discussed it, and I didn't find it too interesting. So, basically, their next Stranger Things season looks like they're going to be leaning into human villains more. They just got Carrie... I just said I'm not going to... Carrie Elways and Jake Busey to join. So, I'm pretty excited about that. So... all right, so that's all we got for nerd news. Again, I hate that title. We'll work on that. Can I start thinking of a title for that right now?
If people have suggestions, they should write in.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end. But yeah, if you could think of something better than nerd news, you let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my big problem with it. So, and nobody will agree with me, but nerd and geek.
Very different. Yes.
Very different.
Nerds are book smart. Geeks are fandom, right?
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how and there are people who will disagree with that. But I feel like you're gonna geek out about something.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm super into Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know everything about Star Wars. What are quantum physics? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But a nerd would know. They could calculate.
I am a geek. I don't find myself too much of a nerd, although I can get along with nerds just fine. I think we're two children of the same family. Don't get
and
me
they
wrong.
often coincide. Usually, people are a nerd and a geek, but a lot of times they don't. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I think it could be both. Yeah, those circles interlink a lot.
Especially the geeks that like to read like the actual books of.
Well, it depends on the kind of books. I read Game of Thrones. It doesn't mean. Yeah, if you
No, I'm buzzing. I'm drinking before this.
Okay. So, anyways, or you could be a drunk geek. But yeah, so I think we're more geeks than we are nerds. Drunk geeks.
Drunk geeks. We wait to do the nerd.
Nice.
Somebody write down spin-off names. I already got one written down. All right. And then, so yeah, we'll go over all that later on. But so let's get into our top 5. And we're going over the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All right. And we'll do our intro music here if we ever have some. So intro music insert. So now I know. All right. So let's go over Squeaks. Squeaks, you say your number 5.
All right. Number 5 for me is the first Avengers. And the reason why, besides it being a pretty good movie, but it was such a impact, I would say, to all of us. It was leading up to something that we've never seen before in any superhero movie.
Yeah.
Of having that many characters in one movie. Other than that, I think action was awesome. The dynamic for each character was pretty good. But I just remember just it being an iconic movie for that universe. Mm-hmm. So that would be my number 5 for me, actually.
One thing, and I'm sure everybody else will talk about it too at some point, but a big thing for me was we couldn't imagine all the movies. Like, I remember when Iron Man first came out, they're like, yeah, they're going to do a Thor one and a Hulk one, and they're all going to come together at the end. And at the time, it was unreal. Like, nobody had ever seen that before.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it was cool that they actually...
to see it actually work well,
yeah.
I think that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. What my favorite scene from that too is that one at the very end where it's everybody's favorite scene. They're all circled up in the middle of New York, and they're like, and Captain America just starts throwing out orders. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's such a good. That's so good. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think about a favorite scene.
It's one of the jars. It's in the top of the jar. Nice. 170 topics, guys. I don't know if we'll anywhere get near them, but yeah. All right, John.
My number 5 is Thor, the original one. Okay. It was just an all-around good movie. I liked it. I mean, it was good to introduce Thor, like you guys are saying. Each of the characters have their own separate movies, so it's cool
origin film.
Yeah. But my favorite character really was the one Idris Elba. Just because he's such a badass, and they did such a good job. He looks so good in that fucking costume, and not that I'm gay in it, but it's pretty tight. Yeah. So
with that character too, I know this is a little off though. There was some rumors of him being the next 007.
I wish
that would be awesome.
That'd be hot.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Hey, that'd be hot. It's 2018. We don't judge here.
I can't take my wife to that.
It's 2018 if you're in the future listening to this.
Hopefully my wife doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, no, but did you ever watch Dark Tower with him in it?
No, I gotta see that.
It's terrible.
Oh, I was gonna say, I hate that movie.
It's so terrible, but the saving grace is how awesome he is.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing in the whole movie. Yeah. It's just Idris Elba. I mean, he's great in Pacific Rim. Mm-hmm. He's awesome in everything.
Such a good movie.
He's good in anything.
He's really good. At my first time ever noticing him, and I think it's same for you, is The Office.
Oh, yeah.
He was the replacement boss for a while.
So good. And you're like, okay, what else is he in? I want to watch this guy.
Yeah. And he had an English accent, or like an American accent during it too, so it was like...
And he pulled it off so well.
He did.
You're like, oh my god, this guy is like got a British accent? How's he doing that?
Yeah, right? And that's the same thing with Walking Dead. You're like, okay, the entire cast is British apparently.
House.
He didn't pull off playing a panther. Is that what he was in Jungle Book? It was the panther? Or he was the tiger?
No, I think he was Bagheera.
Was he?
I think he was Bagheera.
He wasn't
Who was
on
calling
screen
him?
and he was
All right, somebody, we all got phones out. Somebody Google it.
Yeah.
While Daniel talks. Daniel, what's your number 5?
Number 5.
My number 5 is Iron Man, the first one.
Props.
How was that number 5?
Yeah.
I know.
It's tough.
I know. It was hard.
It's not even on my list.
It was hard because the villain, Jeff Bridges, amazing actor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. This one, I didn't even want to put it at number 5, but kind of had to. And when Iron Man came out, it was just crazy because, like, the effects, the suit, everything, you couldn't even imagine that, like, we were able to do this and make it into a movie. And it just, like, after that, I think every other movie just blew up and even got better. And
looking back, you think, it was a good movie, like from what we've seen now. But back then when it came out, I remember it was like, holy shit, that's a fucking awesome movie. Like just the technology, not only the concept of the technology, but the fact that they were able to portray it so well and use new, like, what do you call that? Technology, new CGI. Yeah. It's like we'd never seen that CGI used that way yet. So now they put it together with his motions and stuff like that so well. It was fucking revolutionary.
Yeah, it was.
And you're right, Jeff Bridges. What a good choice.
Oh yeah, it was.
And it's funny, even better than Jeff Bridges. Who would have thought about giving Tony Stark, actor's name?
Robert Downey Jr.
Thank you, Robert Downey Jr. I mean, at the time, it was like, what? You're gonna give him a chance?
Yeah, he was a
and
nobody.
now he blew up from that. It's insane. They've revitalized his career like beyond what it ever was before.
I'm excited to see if he does anything else besides Iron Man. I know he did Due Date.
He did Due Date, which is good. Kind of.
I laughed at it. Especially that car scene.
I think he was in like Kiss Bang Bang, and he's in a lot of other stuff. I would like to see.
I want to see him in more than just Iron Man after this whole thing.
Sherlock Holmes. He's talked about maybe doing a number 3 of that. I liked him.
Really? I own it. I like it.
Yeah, and what I like is it's just a totally different take on the character. A little bit more relaxed and stuff like that. I really liked it. All right, it's funny that Iron Man 3 is in my honorable mentions, but it's not even in my top 5. I had a hard time with my top 5. One thing I realized about my top 5 too, and I think it might be different than me and Squeaks probably on the same page because me and Squeaks, I think we've seen every one of them, and I've seen all but 2 in theaters. But all mine are newer movies, so it's kind of weird. But anyways, my number 5 is Spider-Man: Homecoming, and it's Tom Holland just nails it for me. I think I really like. I know that a lot of people complain that like Spider-Man was only in high school for like 22 episodes of the comic or whatever, and not that long. I don't know how long it was or whatever, but and so going young.
Some of us had a hard time getting through high school, right? You can repeat a couple years.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying like
4 years is suggested.
It was like the most requested like on the cover of the first episode when he graduated from comic. It said something along the lines of like the most requested storyline ever, or something like that, because everybody wanted to get him out of high school. And now the movies are like, oh, he's getting too old. High school again. Get a new guy. You know. And it just works so well because it really adds like a.
It helps ground the character.
It grounds the character and it adds an element to it that we don't see in any other Marvel movie, which is what I like about Marvel in general, like with Ant-Man and stuff like that, where they're like, well, let's put this in the Marvel world, but it not necessarily be just an origin story. Mm-hmm. And this one is a lot more like Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's, where you get like kind of that high school dynamic with him and his friends. I really like that. And then
that's true. It shows that they have a life beyond being a superhero. Yeah, they're actually the regular person. They got to poop like everybody else.
And even beyond that, you get to see high school dynamics. Yeah. It's like something you don't see in anything else. Yeah. You know,
that's cool.
With Ant-Man, you got more of a heist. Mm-hmm. You know, stuff like that. So it's kind of a neat little thing. And then the bad guy played by Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they did such a good job with that. Not only is he an amazing actor, but they did a really good job with the fact that they're harvesting that new technology and repurposing.
Believable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he does such a good job to a point where you are like, hey, Spider-Man, don't kill him. Don't hurt him. Don't kill him. You know what I'm saying? You're like really rooting for him to not be perished.
Yeah.
So that was a good. I really didn't plan on talking about our number 5s this much, but we're getting there, aren't we?
It's gonna be a long episode.
The Michael Keaton Vulture, I'm pretty anti. Well, I hate when they always change something from the comic books.
Yeah.
But I super liked his Vulture.
Yeah, and it was really different than the comics.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah. First of all, far younger. Vulture in the comic books? Holy shit. Yeah, my grandpa's grandpa. Anyways. All right, so that was my number 5. Squeaks, let's hear your number 4.
All right, jumping to 4. I actually have Black Panther as number 4.
Okay. Well, we're beefing.
Now, I don't want to say because of my other top nominations, but I think what really did it for me, besides the awesome action and the car scene, for sure, the chasing and the car scenes was pretty cool, but Michael B. Jordan made it one of my favorites.
Oh my god! Okay, the reasons you like it are way off of the reasons I like it.
Really?
So I'm glad about that.
Oh man, Michael B. Jordan, I just fell in love with him after that movie. Well,
he's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm not going to compliment him with his Fantastic Four. But with him doing that, it made me want to watch like Creed and other movies. But I really fell in love with the villain on that one. And then I know that's just why, mostly because the villain in it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he did.
Then you had oh man, what's the name? Smeagol guy.
Martin Freeman.
No.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Bilbo. Frodo. Or Bilbo. No, Bilbo.
I'm thinking Smeagol.
Yeah. Oh God.
Andy Serkis.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you had 2 all-star actors in the movie that were both villains. Then you kill one. I don't know. I thought it was kind of neat.
I'm really surprised they killed them off for as big as he is.
Exactly.
Panther villain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of cool to see 2 famously known villains be a part of one movie. Yeah. And then none of them are the good guys, and we got someone brand new. Yeah. So I liked it a lot.
That was good. I thought it was good, and it's in my list, of course, but for different reasons, so I'm happy about that. Mm-hmm. All right, John, let's hear your number 4.
So my number 4 is also the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay, why?
So I didn't realize we're probably going to be overlapping with a lot.
But as long as we kind of just give our point of view, it's perfect. Yeah. That's going to happen with all of them.
Yeah. So I like it mainly because just like Iron Man, how they did such a good job with the new technology and the CGI and stuff like that. But they had a good storyline. It being a young character, which they grounded it a lot to show the vulnerability still in superheroes. Not that, like Iron Man, you think, shit, he could do just about anything. And they show him weak at some points and stuff.
But even then, it's like he's going to pull through.
Yeah, but him, I mean, like when they show him almost being crushed to death, and then it's like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't go out there and aim for the big fish. Maybe I should just stay home and take care of the small stuff and just get enough to keep my neighborhood safe. Yeah. And then when they need me,
friendly
they'll call
neighborhood
me
Spider-Man. Yeah,
exactly. So I thought it was really good. Really
what's cool about that you're talking about, and kind of, it's funny that you bring that. I didn't think about that, but the Marvel TV shows, they're all like in Hell's Kitchen or they're very small, and you think it's because of the budget, but that's actually where a lot of the actual saving people comes in, and like, so it's cool that one of the movies did that, because it's like, hey, look, he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and they address it in Avengers, as you remember. But let's go. I'm really ready to watch that right after this again. That's a good one. So there's maybe a bit of a break in here just because we're trying different programs out, and this one has a limit on our time, so we're picking up again. But so now we're on Daniel's, and Daniel, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is the first Avengers movie.
Okay, why?
Okay.
Because it brought all the superheroes together, pretty much, and we got to meet looks like pretty much the main Hulk. Because usually, the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, 3 other Hulks.
Yeah, you get 2-3 other Hulks.
Yeah.
He pretty much nailed it in this movie.
With Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, that's it.
And that was a good movie.
You like this Hulk?
Yeah.
Do you like him as of now? Besides just the first one, just as a whole, and now with all these movies out, do you like this Hulk?
I tell you what, he's a good Hulk. Sorry, he's a good Hulk, but he's a hell of a good Bruce Banner.
I don't care. No, okay. I think he's a better Bruce Banner than Edward Norton, but I like Edward Norton better. Period, just from anything.
Well, yeah.
God, I wish we could bring him back, but God, I'm so tired of him just being with the language, but being a little bitch. Like I'm over him.
But that's how
all Avengers Infinity War though.
All Bruce Banners are though.
Like, yeah, but I mean, man, the fuck up now. How many movies are we in now with him? It's like the end of Avengers 1, he was like, "Oh, I'm always angry," and he like looks like he could control that shit. But now we're back to him not being able to control it. And then in Avengers Infinity War, he was like scared the whole time. I get it, cool, but this is like your 4th movie now, or 3rd movie, whatever.
Him in Infinity War was terrible. Hulk's position in Infinity War.
Yeah, and I get it. Hulk was scary because he got his ass beat by Thanos, whatever. But you're the Hulk. I don't want to see Bruce Banner in the Iron Man suit. I was waiting for him to pop out of that suit as a Hulk, and then just start tearing stuff up. But didn't even get that.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's like, even in the and Marvel's famous for doing this, but even in the advertisements for it, they showed Hulk running around all the time. You notice that? Watch the one where it's them charging in. Hulk's right behind him on the right hand side, like behind his right or his left.
You're right. Yeah,
he's on the right side.
But he's not doing it in the movie.
No, that scene isn't in there. And I actually watched an interview with the 2 writers, and they were just like, "Oh yeah," kind of like coy about it. But it was like, "Hey assholes, where's my Hulk?"
That should have been a Hulk and not the Iron or Hulkbuster.
I think it fit, but I think there needed to be more. So I was listening to somebody else talk about this, where they were like, they should have had a moment where like Bruce Banner's like, "I can't Hulk out," and then he like looks over at the Iron Hulk that's just or whatever, the Hulkbuster that's chilling out over there, and they kind of like do a little like joke about how he's using the Iron. They didn't talk. All of a sudden, he just kind of showed up with it almost. It wasn't enough. But
and you like this? You like this one better than the others, Hulk wise?
No, I actually like the original Hulk movie,
the old one.
Or
are we talking
Edward Norton one?
There's Edward Norton, and then there's another one right before Edward Norton, like purple pants. But I don't know. It was like a no-name guy.
It was the no-name guy.
You liked that one?
With Jennifer Connelly.
I agree with him.
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, I agree on that. I don't think he was that bad.
That was actually a good movie. If it comes on TV.
That was one with the really bad CGI, right?
Yeah.
But
I liked it.
What year was that? It was early 2000s.
2003.
2003, yeah.
I just started my job.
I agree. I liked it. I liked it, and but I wish it was a different villain. I wish it was kind of like Edward Norton's villain instead of like I'm just going to fight the government.
I wish they waited so they could use some decent CGI.
Yeah,
technology changes, man.
Yeah,
I'd like to. I know right now they're having a problem with Marvel and who owns the Hulk story. That's why they can't do Planet Hulk.
Oh, really? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's why they can't do a Hulk movie. So they said they're gonna tell Planet Hulk storyline and stuff like that throughout multiple movies, or basically Hulk stories throughout multiple movies. That's why he's so heavy in Thor. But I'd like to see a new Hulk movie. And it's funny because before this MCU kicked in, I did not care for Hulk. I didn't like the fact that he lost his ability to control himself. He just wasn't my favorite. And I've always been a DC guy. So
that's why I got excited at the end of Avengers 1. He's like, oh man, we're going to look like he's going to control it all now.
Yeah.
But then we're just back to
But what's going on, that's one thing with Infinity Wars we'll probably see in the next one, is he may be able to control it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they can do that though. Like that's written into his character though. How do you have that? You won't have that eternal struggle over unlimited power versus any kind of weakness. Well, it's like if Superman abolished all kryptonite, So he has superpowers and no weakness. You can't have a character like that, right?
Well, yeah, but it's hard for me to say that like they do it in the comic books, because in the comic books there are some insane storylines. There is even a hulking version of Hulk where he hulks up more and he activates another level of Hulk. I know it sounds crazy.
He's just like all muscles and he can't move.
I'll have to show you
Hulk going Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan Hulk. Yeah, oh my god, they should call it too. Anyway, so that's a good choice. That's a good one. All right, so we're on number
4 still.
Oh, so on number 4.
God,
okay,
we're still on 4.
I know. I'm telling you, too much talking to these.
Yeah,
but
get into it.
That's all right. That's good. So my number 4 is Avengers: Infinity War. Guys,
Okay.
Really?
right? I know where you're coming from, because it shouldn't be that low on the list, but I had a hard time with my top 3. So the reason it's number 4 is because it's a part 1, and if you I don't know, and I do like what I do like is it is a Thanos storyline. It's not about, and you got to watch it knowing that this is Thanos' movie. Then it's like way better, and it's just, the Gamora stuff's so good in this. I liked how they had the teams all paired off, and that's probably my favorite part is how you had the Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Star-Lord and Spider-Man team, and you had which just, that sounds like it should be its own movie. And you had the Rocket, Groot, and Thor team. Also, that's like a buddy cop heaven right there.
Yeah.
So great. But there, it was just it's just a part 1. And we talked about this before too. The Peter Dinklage role I felt was done wrong. I didn't care for the way it was done.
Yeah.
I know it's a little more accurate to some extent, but it took me out of it because
His
the way they
talking
filmed
seemed
it.
kind of phony too.
It did. It just seemed a little too phony.
Yeah.
A little too tacked on. I think if they kept him at his normal height, people who know the comic books a lot would be mad. But I think for the normal moviegoer, they'd be like, okay, that's just Peter Dinklage. But the way they did it just felt weird, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't. And that's a personal view. It's in my top 5 though. It is that good of a movie. I literally want to see it again tonight. It's that good. But it's because my other 3 are that much higher. Yeah. All right. So number 3 for you.
All right. Squeeze. Number 3 for me is Guardians 1. Kind of like the Avengers with all these different people coming in together. Besides being all these Avengers, it was different personalities fighting with each other, and then at the end they're a super group now. But it was I would say obviously it's the first Marvel movie that became that hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had a super good time on it. I liked it so much that I didn't care that it was. Maybe some people thought it was too much comedy. I thought it worked super well.
Is that why it's kind of down on your list a little far?
No, it's just I like the other 2 there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like the first comedic superhero, I guess, movie, right?
That I can think of, like, I know Iron Man's got some funny parts, but I think Guardians of the Galaxy, they're like, let's lean into it. I think you're right.
Nothing like Drax, and I guess the commentary between each one is just so hilarious. Even the little stuff in it is just hilarious.
Yeah.
But also, I like the perspective of space travel they show in it, because did we have
a Marvel
movie
first time in
space?
space?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So other than Iron Man going up during Avengers, it was like it was the first time that was space based.
Yeah, that was really cool, really good.
Different way techniques of fighting all working together too. I think that's pretty neat. Kind of like the Fantastic Four.
Well, and that's another thing is they're not super superheroes.
Yeah,
that was really cool. But
they're basicly rejects coming together as one.
And so in Avengers: Infinity War, did you notice that Star-Lord has more gadgets than he's ever had? Watch it again. He goes straight Batman. He's busting out gadgets, like the one where he ties down his arms.
Yeah, and he's actually talking about what grenades he should bring.
It's great. I actually really liked it, but it was something that's like, I think when you put him in a regular Guardians of the Galaxy movie, everybody has that kind of technology. But when you put him in an Avengers movie where he's the space guy, they make sure to lean into it a little bit. Like, this is from some random planet, and that's from some other random planet. I didn't invent these like Batman would. I have just random things because that's how we do things up here.
That's pretty. Yeah,
and his random. It's funny because then that means that his random gadget that nobody has is his freaking tape player or the Zune with a bunch of old music on it.
Zune, man. That's
I know. Man, I love the Zune so much, and I'm like the old me
Bring
and
it back.
Our family were the ones that did. All right, John. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Black Panther.
That's good.
Yeah, it's all around good movie. I'm realizing now as I'm looking at my top 4 that a lot of what I like in modern, at least the Marvel movies, is the technology. Like the way they showed high-tech stuff that you could kind of foresee in our future, but at the same time you wouldn't think that our technology was really going that way.
It's like doable.
Yeah.
It's still doable though. It's not just straight up like in space.
Yeah, alien technology you can't grasp. But yeah, it was really cool. They make it, plausible or possible, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of like his suit, like where he kind of absorbs those
kinetic energy, stores the kinetic energy.
Yeah, like I'm sure they
can't.
can't. I mean, it might sound pretty impossible now, but I'm sure it can be. I guess it's the most impossible thing that seems realistic.
Yeah. Is that in the comics? Do you know if that's in the comics?
I didn't read a lot of Black Panther
in the comics. That's why I didn't have much hope for it when the movie was coming out.
I know he had a corny outfit with his cape and all. It was actually a pretty good outfit, but he had a cape also.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah. But I didn't read a lot of Black Panther back then. So yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Got that pop.
So he's got some good pops. We're going to have to do a spin-off series of just pop talk. Pop talk. Oh, God, we got the name for it, too.
I'm almost at 70.
Oh, wow. I'm very proud of my 30 because they're ones I really love. Cat Dog. Dude, have you seen the Cat Dog one?
I have.
Super off topic. Cat Dog one looks so great. All right. Daniel, you're number 3.
My number 3 is Doctor Strange.
Oh, I love Doctor Strange.
It's a good movie. Well, the reason I like it is because, like Avengers and pretty much all Avengers and then Iron Man. It's all just so much action. I like stories. I like magic, pretty much Doctor Strange, and it's different. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
I can actually watch it on repeat if it comes out.
It's funny. So my number 3 is also Doctor Strange.
Oh.
And I just watched it again yesterday. When I was making this list, I was like, man, I'm hankering for some Doctor Strange now. And it's on Netflix.
Yes.
For now until Disney rips it all off. But one thing I like is it was the first time that they're going to put Marvel. It's funny because my top 3, I like them because it's the first time they're trying something new. But it's the first time they're going to use magic in the MCU, and so they're introducing it. So I remember during the filming, everybody's like, "Oh, you see how Doctor Strange's hands are up? That's going to look so stupid on film." Like, "Oh, you see it because how are you going to portray magic?" Like they had the same thing with Scarlet Witch. We're like, "Oh, Scarlet Witch's abilities are going to look super stupid," which they kind of do. But it was the first time they're going to use magic like that, and so everybody was worried about it and stuff like that. But then, that first trailer came out, and you saw that Inception move that they do with the buildings. You knew that was going to be great. Yeah. And then you saw how everything had kind of reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist, the way they do their symbols. You know what I'm saying? And what is that called?
Transmutation.
Transmutation. Thank you. It kind of reminds me of those symbols and stuff like that. And it was just it's like there's first off, they use a Buddhist temple thing going on, but everything has a science behind their magic to where it was this drawing means this because you're doing this.
There's a physical translation into the magical reaction. The great one or the old one or whatever her name is. I just watched it too. I should remember this. But she gets her level of power from this void, and so it it's not just oh look, fire because I can make fire. It's not like that. They make a science to the magic. It's just a science we don't understand.
Exactly. It's it's beyond us, and they're just using it. And then I've always liked Doctor Strange himself just because he protects. One thing I love is I think it's Civil War where they go to him in Civil War in the comics, and they're like, "Hey, we need your help," and he's like, "I'm busy making sure that the Earth that you guys are fighting on is still here. You guys do your fight." He's above that. He's he's got to keep realities existing where they exist. While you guys, and then of course his villain is Dormammu, who can beat Thanos' ass. Dormammu is insanely strong. And then when you see him in Infinity War, again, now this is more of I like Doctor Strange rant I'm going on here, but in Infinity War, how awesome was he in Infinity War fighting Thanos? Mm-hmm. Dude, unreal.
The spells going back and forth with each other.
Dude, and then when he was helping Spider-Man with the portals, he's it was just great. He's just really good.
Star-Lord, I think it was.
He might have been in that. I know there's one part.
What are we talking about? Oh, not the portals. You're right with the portals.
Yeah, where he was come in and
platforms for Star-Lord when he was jumping up.
Yeah, he did do that, but I like how Spider-Man's portal kick. Portal kick.
You're right.
He's coming through. Yep. Anyways, so yeah, I'm a big so Doctor Strange is my number 3 too. So I think it's just awesome, and Benedict Cumberbatch nailed it in my opinion. He was born for it. So. All right,
that's pretty quick for me then, because my number 2 is Doctor Strange.
Oh, yes. All right, go for it. Say something new.
Pretty much everything. The only thing I would say is when I watched it, it really didn't feel like I was watching a superhero movie with the magic and the Inception feel of it. So other than that, it kind of took me away from being these Avenger movies where sometimes it might feel a little too colorful-ish and kiddie-ish or, whatever. It took me away where I didn't feel like I was watching a Marvel movie. So.
Because it was less colorful?
Yeah, the only reason why I say that is because when you make jokes like Steve Rogers talked about cursing,
oh, okay,
then you're all right, we're just pretending to maybe a certain age group here.
It focused less towards their children audience.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can say that.
Okay,
you can say that. But I liked it a lot. I didn't feel like I was watching a superhero movie. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
that's good. All right, Jonathan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy, which I know we've talked about a lot already.
Why is it your number 2 though?
It's an all around good movie. I don't know. It's mainly like.
I'm so glad you brought some insight.
so deep. That's it. Bye.
Good to be here today.
I can't wait for number 1. It's a really good movie.
Now, like we talked about before, I guess I'm just a fan of firsts too. Being the first one in space and their perspective on space travel and how it's not just like some of the Star Treks we've seen where space is super easy to manage and we're all gonna live with no problem. No, space is fucking hard to deal with because you just need to focus on survival and life support and temperatures and oxygen and then beyond that, hey, maybe we'll get into a fight every once in a while, but first we need to focus on keeping ourselves alive.
Yeah.
So they did a good job with the whole space thing.
Yeah, and I think that might be because I know you and me are big Star Trek Voyager fans.
For sure.
Star Trek fans in general, but Star Trek Voyager I can go all day on.
Yeah.
Another spinoff.
Exactly.
And so living in space and
they make it look so
society
easy.
can be there.
Yeah.
So that's cool. All right. Daniel.
All right, so my number 2 is Thor.
The original Thor?
Yes.
Okay, that's unique. What's going on with that?
I just love that movie. I think.
More insight.
He was the Rainbow Bridge. He found hope when he saw the Rainbow Bridge.
Idris Elba. I trust.
Well,
and more Idris Elba. I get it. Man.
You got more Natalie Portman in that movie.
She's awesome.
True.
Number 2.
They didn't really play her that much.
Well, they just straight up dropped her. After that.
I think she was only in like for maybe 30 minutes because she disappeared in the second one.
I think they
she
break
got-
up after that. I want to say.
Well,
I know
after the second one, they do break up, but she does disappear when she like touches the thing. But the first one it's the first one, and I just really love Thor.
I think we're forgetting a lot too about Loki. How much of a awesome villain he
I didn't
is.
really care for Loki though.
Oh, you'll like Infinity War.
Really?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think Loki's amazing though.
The beginning of Infinity War when he dies, too. Like again, we got spoilers.
He better be.
Well, why didn't you care
this
about?
better be some mischief shit. And then no, he's dead.
No, he's straight up dead, and you're just like, wow, you guys just killed your best acting villain.
Yeah, really. So smooth. I wish I could grow hair like him.
Oh, no. And then it's funny because I just watched Kong last night, and he's in that, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
motherfucker's a good actor.
Yeah.
That's just what it
I like
is.
him a lot, yeah.
So
Tom
wait,
Hiddleston?
you didn't like Thor? The first
I like Thor, but not top 5 though. I mean, he maybe
Really?
breaks top 10.
I like the story.
It was
I like,
good at the
Well,
time.
I just thought it was amazing. Like
It's a good story. And it's funny, is the second time you watch it, or looking back and you watch it, it's a lot more comedic than you think.
Yeah, it is.
Like you think now that like, oh, they're leaning into comedy now, but they actually did have quite a bit of it back then. It's just not,
Well, the problem with this is how I am. I don't like how they just put so much freaking action to a thing. Like I don't like that.
It almost
more
feels,
story.
almost feels formulaic. They're just pumping it out. They're just trying to get you in the seat to pay for
That's
it.
why I got into the Marvel series like Punisher and all that, Daredevil and all that, because there's a whole story. It just keeps continuing. Like when you just go Avengers, like let's get all these guys, we'll make hella money, and then
That's how I felt the Avengers movie was.
yeah,
It was two just throw everyone together and start a big fight and let's make a lot of explones and then people are going to pay to see it because the
yes,
names,
I'll pay twice.
right?
yeah, and that's what happened. And that
yeah.
just like I don't know if I should even bring this. It's not even Marvel.
Bring it up.
Go ahead.
Like Expendables. Sylvester Stallone, all those. That's what they did.
You should have brought that one up.
No, wait. That's what they did. It's like, hey, let's just make a bunch of money. All we have to do is kill people, and people are going to come to see. And guess what? People did.
Yeah, but also I think at the same time is that they're trying to fill this agenda where we have to fit all this in one movie so it could start up the next thing, and that's when they start failing. I think Thor Ragnarok was like that, and that's why I hated that movie.
I see. I like that movie, but I think they just the jokes were failing because they were putting too many in.
Yeah.
They just lost their way. I think, but I do like that they're trying to change Thor up a little bit, and I think. What I like is what they promised the movie was going to be more so than what the movie is. 'Cause they're talking about like, oh, it'll be like Game of Thrones in Asgard now. I'm like, oh, yeah, do that.
Yeah,
but then it ended up being Sanford and Son in Asgard. It was like way more comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know they had to bring in a lot more Hulk and stuff like that. And I like Valkyrie, which she's missing from Avengers,
Yeah,
but
I
she
dig her.
actually
Where
saved
else
half
is
of
she?
Asgard.
I feel like I just... Oh, you know what? She's in Westworld, huh? In season 2. Is that the
She
same girl?
is. She's the one
I
that
don't know,
she works
that's
for
what I'm
Delos
saying. Yeah.
Corporation.
Yeah.
Delos.
And she tries to kick off Dr. Ford.
She's awesome. All right, so my number 2, Black Panther.
Okay.
All right, and this is it's one of those firsts for me as well, where what I really liked is, and I didn't plan on Black Panther being good because I didn't care for the actual character. But what I did
racist.
No.
Whoa! No!
I gotta call that one out. Subscribe.
There goes all of my 0 listeners. They're gone now. Oh no. No, just because I felt like he was just mediocre. He's like Batman with like, I don't know, different gadgets. I don't know. I just didn't care for him. But I really liked how in Black Panther it felt like way more of a Wakanda movie. A lot less of an actual Black Panther movie. And Wakanda is amazing. And I still feel inappropriate doing the salute because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to as I'm a white man. But
oh man, subscribe.
But yeah, I liked how it showed a different version of what we've seen out of movies that focus in Africa. Also, I felt like one of the scenes I really liked that I think they could lean into in future movies is the casino scene. You guys remember the casino scene?
Oh man, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was right before that car scene I was talking about.
Exactly.
I don't call it the same.
Well, what I like about it is it felt so much like a 007 movie.
Oh yeah, the way they kind of expected all at first.
Yeah, it just felt like a good, and so I liked that. They could do a lot more of that, I think, in my opinion. And then my big complaint with it, the reason it's not number one, CGI was terrible in that movie.
No way.
Oh no, look at it again, man. Oh yeah, terrible. Anytime that they CGI'd a person moving, I mean, it was just awful.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like clunky.
I'll have to look at it again.
It felt like they were kind of like floating almost. Yeah, watch it again. The CGI is bad. The rhinos, terrible CGI.
Yeah, I like rhinos a lot though. So.
They did good on the ships, but I mean, the rhinos were awful.
Yeah, they did good on the tech, right? I mean,
well, the tech is awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's Wakanda. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
I think they really.
I mean, the CGI and the tech.
Oh yeah. And it did. Just a quick number: $200 million was the budget for this film. Mm-hmm. It's brought in so far $1.185 billion. Yeah, they made their money back a little bit.
We're in the wrong business.
Clearly, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll start with podcasts, and we'll get our way to making Marvel movies. I feel like it's going to happen, guys.
Let's bring Blade back.
Bring Blade back. Oh, there's actually talks about that.
Idris Elba?
He's too old. They need a young guy so they can use him forever.
He could be old. He can play 15 if you wanted to.
Well, he's that good in the Marvel Universe then. And we want Blade to join with the Avengers, but he can't also be the guy that opens up the Bifrost.
He could be both. Who was it that was doing 2 jobs at once?
No, Chris Evans.
But that's not the other one's not in the Marvel Universe.
They're not doing that one anymore.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut him out.
All right. So. Okay, and then our number one's next. Oh, did I do my number 2? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do your number 1.
All right, my number 1 is actually the Infinity War. Besides whatever we talked about already, I liked it for having 3 different scenarios all together in one and blending in so well that it just worked out with movie time. I know a lot of people were talking about how difficult it might be fitting all these actors in the movie.
It was the longest Marvel movie to date.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. But besides that, I felt like everyone still brought the personalities that they came from their movies, and in one, and it wasn't overshadowed by one or the other. I feel like we actually got some of straight up Doctor Strange against Tony Stark. Then we got the Guardians versus Thor, or Guardians versus you got
Guardians and Thor.
Yeah, and Star-Lord versus everyone in that group, really.
The Star-Lord Thor combo was fantastic. Mm-hmm. The way he's jealous of Thor, that was so good.
So I feel like I really did watch all these movies come together in one and being perfect.
What did you think of the ending? I know that's everybody's...
I thought it was perfect because that's what I was expecting. I didn't expect for Thanos to lose and then come back, I'm ready to come back. And just to know that we will know who loses again. Are you satisfied with the ending, though? I am. You think it did? Okay. Yeah, I am. I liked how and I think that's Gamora's planet that he's on at the very end when he's at his cabin. I didn't think too far into it. Actually. Because he tells Gamora you should see your homeworld now. It's a paradise or whatever. And so then he retires to that cabin at the end and he's just chilling or whatever. And it's almost like, okay, cut. Thanos' story is done. Now we're going to see the repercussion of that in the next movie coming up. I think Thanos will be in it because at the very end they do say Thanos comes back or whatever. Oh, for sure. But it's not about him anymore. This one was all about how does Thanos succeed. So if you go into it knowing that, you're good. Oh, for sure. I knew this would be like the Star Wars episode 4 or episode 5.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get 6.
I love that one.
And
That's got to be one of our top. Is top.
For sure.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. All right, John, what do you got for number 1?
My number 1 is fucking Iron Man.
The original Iron Man.
The original Iron Man.
Oh, wow.
I know right now, we look back and we're like, yeah, Iron Man, he's fucking cool or whatever. He's good in the new movies and whatnot. But back then, the day it came out, when I watched it, I nearly shit myself when I watched it like 5 more times because that was just fucking the best movie of its time. So
yeah, that's true.
You can't look, now when we look back, there's other movies that compete in the technology. But today, we have more advanced CGI than we did back then. So, and we built on his character and everything. So when you look back at when that movie first came out, the impact it had on people then, I think it was the fucking best movie they made. And it was the beginning. It built the foundation for the Marvel series.
That's a biggie right there.
Yeah, it's huge.
You know what's funny about that movie, too, is before then, I knew I talked to geeks more than other people, because that's just how growing up is. You're like, oh, okay, these people don't judge me the same way. So you knew you talked to geeks the same way. But what was funny, I went to a comic book store after that movie came out, and I just was blown away. I'm like, okay, best movie ever, yada, yada, yada. And then the people in the comic book store, I remember overhearing them talk, and they were just dogging on it so hard, because they're like, oh, is it accurate to the comic book, and blah, 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 blah. And then I realized, oh, okay, geeks can be assholes. And like they can't, sometimes they're just not open-minded.
They're snobs.
But we still see that.
Snobs, that's the term. Assholes less great. Snobs, perfect.
We still see that with every movie coming out.
Every one of them.
And it's like, by now, you just got to get used to it. That's what
But that was the first time I realized it, because like I remember like the X-Men TV show, or the old cartoon.
Yeah.
I thought perfect.
Well, because we're making it dead on to the comic. We can do whatever we want.
Right.
We're going to have Wolverine in a yellow outfit.
But I'm sure at the time there were geeks who were just like, that's inaccurate because whatever wouldn't do this or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was perfect at the time. Or the movies even, which I think the movies were before Iron Man. I remember thinking like, look, they're trying something different. That's awesome that they're trying something different. I'm just happy to see an X-Men movie. But it was funny because Iron Man was the first time that I actually heard feedback from somebody that was like, oh, but it's not accurate. And I was just like, oh, wow, I didn't know that existed.
And it's probably one of the first times a comic book based movie, or at least one of several examples, probably, a comic book based movie is not targeting comic book fans as a target audience.
Good point.
They're using the story from a comic book, which is a great story, but they're adapting it to target the mass appeal of the moviegoers, not just comic book fans in general.
It's funny because I think that's becoming like back in the day. It was like, oh, this is based off a book, and that's still happening. But I think we're getting a lot more now based on comic books. Mm-hmm. And there's times where I'll be telling somebody like, oh yeah, that's a comic book, or oh yeah, that's a comic book. And they're like, no, it's not. And so I think Preacher and stuff like that. People don't know our comic books.
I think more than a book, a comic book is probably more adaptable to be able to change to fit a movie because there's a longer storyline, but less content in between the text that you can change to adapt to the movie.
Well, and the visuals are built in. It's storyboard based. It's already a storyboard, basically. Yeah. And there's some shots from like Walking Dead that are shots from the comic book. They're literally the same exact shot. So, and it's a good point. Iron Man not number 1 for me, but it's a good one. All right, Daniel, what do you got? Number 1.
My
Insight.
Number 1 film that I've gone to like people's houses and just like, hey, let's just watch Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Right, Frankie?
Oh yeah.
Was that in everybody's top 5?
It will be. I haven't gotten to it yet. That's funny because our number 3 is the same as what we're going.
Yeah, mine's just the original Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just music, the playlist.
Yeah.
Love the playlist.
You get into it.
Pretty much just the movie. So I mean, we already talked about it.
We did talk about it, but yeah, it's
a good movie.
It's funny to bring up the music. Funny. That's one of my favorite things about it. Best soundtrack. I still listen to it all the time.
Definitely. Yeah. The second one soundtrack wasn't too bad too.
Yeah,
I actually enjoyed it.
Not as good as the first one, but I think that might be because our hopes were really high.
Yeah,
because the first one was so out there that it was like, oh shit, I love Pina Colada song. I didn't know that.
And then it's funny, like if you like search these like these songs that were in Guardians of the Galaxy now, like. The people put comments on YouTube and like, oh, I'm only here because of Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. Yeah, and I've had them on my playlist, but I never actually listened to them. Yeah, and then now it's like everybody's probably listening to it just because it came out.
That's a good reason to like it, though.
If you get Disneyland, you can buy that soundtrack now. So
yeah, you can, and I like the image for it. Like
especially the cassette. I don't own a cassette, but I wanted to buy the cassette version just because it was like the movie.
It's got to exist, right?
Cassettes still? The players?
Well, or cassettes or anything like that. records exist
and land
because people are going to.
I haven't seen a cassette in who knows how long, but then they threw those out as a cassette, just like the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Go to the thrift store. You can find VHS tapes at least.
Oh, well, yeah. Actually, I just bought, off topic, I just bought a Little Mermaid with the original cover on it.
I have that same one. So
I had to get it because it has the guy drew a penis on there.
Wait,
on the original.
You actually have the original?
I just got one.
I have it too.
So I saw it, I'm like, I have to pick this up. That's crazy that somebody...
That's
tight. My wife got it at a street fair or something. So she bought a couple old ones, and then she got Little Mermaid, and I was like, I have to check this out. And there's a big fucking dick on that shit.
It's so funny, yeah.
Isn't it multiple penises? Not like...
It's one
another one in the movie with that
there's one in the movie,
in
the cover, isn't it supposed to be like...
Yeah,
I think it's just the one, but I could be wrong. There's definitely one in the center that is like, that's...
Yeah.
There is multiple? Okay.
Yeah.
You got confirmation from
John. Yeah. He knows John because the cut.
Because he's on top of that. All right.
Blushing now.
All right. So my number one is also Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. So for different reasons you guys have said. First off, great music, great soundtrack, great ensemble cast. I think they play off each other really well. Drax. And I think Drax was a surprise. Dave Bautista, I didn't think was going to be great.
He's really good.
If you look at the actors, I wrote down some of these actors. We got Chris Pratt, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Zoe Saldana.
Half-ass Vin Diesel.
It's funny, half-assed.
But he
all said, "I am Groot." That's
so funny. He actually was on stilts too to try to get in Groot's mind too. It's a whole thing. Wow. Dave Bautista, Michael Pace, we got Lee Pace, and then Karen Gill, and then John C. Reilly's in there for a second. I love John C. Reilly so much.
He said Zoe Saldana. How are you saying her name?
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah. Okay.
But and John C. Reilly's in there. You guys remember? You know from Step Brothers and Talladega Nights. He's not Will Ferrell.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
He's in the Noble Corps.
What was he in?
He's in the Noble Corps, dude.
Yeah.
Any movie he's in, I'm like, boom, make it top. It's too good.
Didn't he have his own TV show for a little bit?
Yeah.
On Adult Swim or something?
Oh, he has it on Adult Swim. He has that. It's where in between the two ferns.
No, that's Galifianakis.
No, I know, but I think it originated on this show. I could be wrong. I might be wrong.
They seem pretty similar.
Let me check with Joe.
I don't know.
Doesn't know.
Joe doesn't know. Okay, so he's useless now. All right.
Joe with the laptop just checking it all out.
One thing, and it's directed by James Gunn, who's quickly becoming my favorite director now. Just because I like the chances that he makes. I like the direction he wants to take his movies in. It was the first attempt for Marvel. So Marvel, before this, was making it safe. They were doing their Iron Mans, their Thors, and their whatever, their Captain Americas, which are good. But they were like, okay, let's try something where a comic book that nobody uses. Or nobody reads. People had to look up stuff, and I remember when it first came out, people were doing a bunch of memes for Groot and stuff when they first announced it because nobody knew what it was. And so it was something they tried, something random, and then because it worked so well, we got our Black Panthers. We got not necessarily Black Panther, but now we're getting all these different random offshoots that are unique.
Branches. And they're attempting to revive other non-known.
Well, they're not staying within what's safe. They know what's safe, what's popular. They could just make a bunch of Spider-Mans if they wanted to stick with what's safe.
Yeah.
But Guardians of the Galaxy was a huge hit, and they were like, okay, let's take more chances. And so I like that because that's when you get a Doctor Strange, everything like that.
So as long as you do the hard work and apply it well, you could take any unknown story and make it something awesome.
Because I'm pretty sure Guardians of the Galaxy couldn't be that popular before that movie, right?
What do you mean?
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, like he was saying, it was hardly nobody really knew.
Yeah,
the comic book was not very. Yeah. Well, I know that there were some diehard fans. There were just big fans of the storylines and stuff like that. And it's got a different team at the time when the movie came out than it currently does now, or at the time, or in the movie. And then I also liked how. It was probably the first one where they embraced the comedy more than anything else. Yeah. It was really colorful. I liked that because at the time it was something really different. They're trying that. Mm-hmm. When you see space movies compared to Star Wars, it's a dingy spaceport in Tatooine or a dingy, Death Star, or in the trash compactor Death Star. Or you go to Star Trek where everything's really clean, but it's gray, black, with little accents of red and blue here and there, something like that. Everything's two different tones. And then you go to Guardians of the Galaxy and just random shit has random colors. And it's kind of cool to see that.
Their space battles are neon explosions and everything.
Yeah, because why are they not? That's the whole thing. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's a movie about space and we have aliens everywhere.
If there can't be fire in space, at least make our fire purple.
Exactly, yeah. Space fire's purple now. New rule. You know what I'm saying? And I like how the big fight at the end, dance battle. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Why not?
what? So they took the rules, they just threw them right out the window and said, let's see what sticks, and it all stuck. So then, you know, I think I was happy that from then on I think that affected how Doctor Strange and the other ones on my list were made, because now they were able to add more colors than they ever had, and they saw the value of making. Yeah, so they were able to embrace more because of what Guardians of the Galaxy did, and it's just, I remember I watched it in theaters, was ready to watch it again. When it came out on Blu-ray, I bought the Blu-ray, watched it. Daniel came over. I think we watched it, and then we just watched it again right afterwards. We literally just watched it twice.
Wait, at what point did you guys take your pants off? I remember there was some.
Oh, that was right
frontal.
away.
Okay,
that was right away.
Opening credits.
You open the door like, hey, Daniel, what the fuck? You're already naked. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was some cuddling involved, I think. But
the next week, I was like, hey, I'm hungry. Let's watch Guardians of the Galaxy also. And then we ended up watching it again.
It's just so good.
It was good. I love the movie.
I love the movie. And then number 2 was good. It's hard to live up to number 1.
And then they threw in more jokes and seemed overwhelming with it. And
but more depth to the storyline and stuff. I think it was good. The character development, I think, was good. The way they, especially, I can't remember his name, but the blue guy.
Yondo.
Yondo, yeah. They did a good job with his character, I think.
I wish he was still around. But James Gunn's brother is the one that has Yondu's arrow now. Mm-hmm. That's actually James Gunn's brother. Oh. But they said that he's coming back. Nice. So he wasn't in Avengers. That's what I mean by he's coming back. He wasn't in Avengers, but he will be part of the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Nice. So he'll be there. But yeah, so I think those are solid top 5 guys for our first podcast and our first attempt. I know we have some cuts in there. I'll have to put them together somehow. I'll figure that out. Just throw them in a blender. But I think it was a solid choice, guys. And I think that's it for this episode. And if you guys wanted to give us ideas, we could use them. We currently have 170 in the bucket, but I want to add like a bunch more. And then if you guys want to send us your ideas, you can get a hold of us on our website at thetop5podcast.com. We have our email, thetop5podcast@gmail.com. We use Gmail because we're like 70-year-old women. We don't know how to make our own.
That's good,
man. You can get a hold of me where I'll take the ideas at Twitter at Top5Frank, and then on Facebook at Top5 _Frank. Some other guy has Top 5 Frank, one word. What a jerk. And then I'm working on Instagram. I'll get that put up tonight. And then a Discord, too. I have that made, but that'll be our forum site. So if you guys want to like yell at each other and stuff, normal internet things.
What's the other guy do? Does he rank hot dogs? Top 5 Frank?
Oh, my God.
Ooh,
first off, new topic in the bin. Nathan's, and you guys could all go to hell. But yeah, so... get a hold of us, guys, and I hope you guys like the show, and we'll be doing more, and I hope somebody's listening. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Top 5. We would love to hear on how we can improve the show or any suggestions on future topics. You can find us on our website at thetop5podcast.com. Email us at thetop5podcast@gmail.com. We're also available on Twitter at Top5Frank and Facebook with Top 5 Frank. Lastly, you can find us on Patreon under the Top 5 Podcast. Thank you again for joining us.